Well, to unpick what we've heard so far, I'm joined by Nina Schick, a policy analyst at Open Europe. So, Nina, as Robert was saying there, signs of rapprochement, but was there really any point to this bilateral, given that Greece's problems are with the whole of the Eurogroup?
Well, the meeting was long overdue. I mean, it's been 2 months since Tsipras has taken office and he hasn't been to Berlin yet. When Hollande, won the presidential election in France, within hours he was on the plane to Berlin. However, if Tsipras was hoping that by meeting Merkel today there could be a reworking of what has already been agreed, that Greece must continue in its current program, then he was sorely disappointed. And of course, Merkel's rhetoric was more conciliatory than the rhetoric we've seen amongst Varoufakis and the German finance minister, Herr Schäuble. But fundamentally, Germany's position hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Greece will have to continue in its current program. And as far as Germany is concerned, the time for talking is over. And now it's time to implement some of the reforms which they've been insisting upon.
Yeah, and I mean, if anything, Mrs. Merkel's under pressure to harden her line. There was a survey out at the end of last week suggesting that 60% of Germans now want Greece out of the euro.
Oh, absolutely. And Merkel knows this. The public is very adamant, the German public, that Greece must pay back its debts. Her coalition partners say the same, but not only that, the rest of the countries in the Eurozone are adamant on this as well. So when they had this mini summit on the last week, Merkel, Hollande, Draghi and Juncker, the rest of the Eurozone countries were quite annoyed, saying Merkel doesn't have the mandate to negotiate for the rest of the Eurozone because, of course, Greek debt is held by the Eurozone taxpayer. So other Eurozone countries are also insistent that Greece has to continue in the current programme. Absolutely.
Now, the key thing we're waiting on is how these reforms are going to be laid out in concrete terms. Do we have any sense of that? I mean, there's a suggestion that Tsipras is going to cede ground and agree to privatisations, for example.
Well, they've sent 2 lists of reforms, but so far, it's been very vague. And this is where the rest of the Eurozone and the institutions are saying they need to have more detail. They haven't been at all given enough detail on the big reforms we're talking about: pension reform, labour market reform, privatisation. But Tsipras has said that within a few days they will send a 3rd list. So basically the balls in Greece's court now, and the rest of the Eurozone and the institutions are just waiting to see what they come up with, but their position hasn't changed.
Yeah, so I mean, do you hold out much hope we're going to get that in the next few days? I mean, Greece is going to run out of money fairly shortly, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, I think, with the Eurozone and the EU, they're very good at doing these extend and pretend fudge deals. So if Greece even shows a little bit of inkling that they're, able to implement some reforms, then I think the next tranche of bailout money will be released. However, Greece is running out of time and money very quickly, so it needs to do that sooner rather than later.